JCW Lunacy. New episodes every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. For over 25 years, JCW has delivered the very best in pro wrestling entertainment, bringing fans deep storytelling drama, gut-busting comedy, and unbelievable in-ring action. From wild characters to unforgettable rivalries, JCW has built a legacy that spans generations of fans. Whether you've been watching since day one or you're brand new to the chaos, there's never been a better time to join the madness. See why JCW is the hottest promotion in independent wrestling today, where anything can happen, and usually does.
Take a look at this!
Don't miss a single moment. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube and catch up on past episodes right now. JCW Lunacy. It's more than wrestling, it's a way of life.
Oh, that's right, folks. It's me. It's the THCDOGG, and we are here. And I'm very excited. This is our first episode of something. I'm not quite sure what we're going to call it yet, but these things always happen. So, my guest, please introduce yourselves to our audience.
K9 Kohl.
Cassidy Crowley.
All right. So, I understand that you, K9, you've got extensive history with the business. I know you work with a lot of. I know you work with a lot of the different indie guys and stuff like that, guys and girls, which is great. And Cassie, how long have you been working in the squared circle there?
I started last year in October 21st, 2021 in training, and then I debuted 2 months later, December 27th, 2024. So
right on.
Definitely been an exciting, wild year.
Yeah, coming up on your first year. So that's so tell me a little bit, K9, about what you do. What is your interaction with the business?
Well, I've got several different things going. Of course, I manage with Twisted Wrestling Alliance. I've been a manager for actually 24 years. I'm also the TV and color commentator for Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling and Veteran Pro Wrestling.
Excellent.
I manage certain talent. Like this lovely lady right here. She is extremely talented, and I am guiding her career to take her where she wants to be.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit. When we were speaking earlier, you had mentioned a couple of people that you're currently working with as well.
Yes.
One of them that jumped right out at me was Royce Adams. Now,
Yes.
For you guys at home who don't know, Royce his father was Brian Adams, who was Crush in Demolition and then Kona Crush.
Yep.
When did that young man start? Like, tell me about, because I knew that he had a son. I knew that the kid was talking about it, but then there all of a sudden there he was. So what was that like?
He's been wrestling for 7 years now.
Okay.
I met him 2 years ago. We got talking. We got to be close. I took him out to Las Vegas for his first time for the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Right on.
We have a card, an event that we do. It's Sin Bodhi put it on. I'm the assistant director for On the Fly.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know what On the Fly basically is the way wrestling used to be. There's no calling matches. You get in the ring, and that's where you do it.
Sure.
Everything is on the fly. So we set it up to where wrestlers sit on the back part of the ring, away from the fans. And there's heels on one side, faces on the other. The legends come up. They look at the wrestlers. They pick who they want to see in the ring. And in they go.
Nice.
So they don't even know who they're wrestling until 30 seconds before they're in the ring. Once they're picked, they come to me for the interviews. I send them to the ring. There they go.
Perfect. Sin, I love Sin. He is an interesting fellow.
He is. Back 23 years.
Yeah, him and I are working on a book together about his career. When we have the chance to pin each other down, because his schedule is as crazy as mine is.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll talk to him and be like, "What's going on this week?" He's like, "Oh, I'm going to be in Saudi Arabia." I'm like, "All right, well, you're not really helping me there." So it's been a slow process with Sin, but I'm having a ball. I love the guy. He's great. So let's take a look here. This is from December of last year at RPW. This is Royce versus somebody. What is it? I just saw it.
Who cares?
Bobby Chrono. Bobby Chrono.
Okay.
All right, let's check that out.
Take the ring, take the belt. You look mad familiar. I've seen your dad. Oh my God. You're Crush Jr. You're Crush Jr. Crush Jr.? It's so nice to meet you, brother. I can't wait to beat you and show you how much of a failure you truly are.
Ain't no questioning whose kid that is, though. My God, he looks like his dad.
He does. Definitely does.
Who you talking to? Is that all you are? All talk, no show. All right. This will be easy. Yeah, Crush Jr., this is how you wrestle. I'm still waiting. Hey. That's what I'm talking about, baby! That's what I'm talking about! He's coming behind you, watch out! Oh. That's first. Alrighty, hot shot. Let's see how tough you really are. Yeah. One, two, three. What do you say, huh? Think I'm not tough, huh? No. Look at you.
Gotta love wrestling fans.
Suplex! Right? That's a fact.
Come on. 1, 2.
This catch also being scared.
Talk to me. Twist it right off. All right. Off the hip.
This is not talking smack now.
Yeah, right.
No.
That's a good bossy one.
What do you say? No. Says no. Say no. I don't think that's enough. Headwood. Put him down. Headwood. Drop me. All right, I think it's time to end this big son of a...
Beat his ass!
Good night, sunshine!
I wish he
Not bad.
celebrated more in the ring, though. Kind of like showing him his dominance still. Like,
Right.
he still talked some smack. He definitely like fought back a little bit, but I feel like with that win, especially with somebody that big, you should probably just stand there a bit and kind of relish. And even since you're so like confident in that smack talk there, maybe rub it in a little bit. Just kind of,
Sure.
you know, stand on business.
Absolutely.
If you're gonna hold that energy in the beginning, I kind of expect you to keep that energy at the end, especially if you have like a really big win with that, especially
Yeah.
with a championship of all things.
Now,
But
how
other
big?
than that, pretty
How
good.
big is Royce?
6'4".
Okay, all right. So he's my size then. All right. Yeah, looks
Not
no
quite
doubt.
as big as his dad, but he's still
Yeah.
6'4", still pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, yeah, and no doubt. I mean, my God, he looks just like him. Oh, jeez. You know, and you know, I mean, obviously Brian had a hell of a career, and you know, the
Yes.
kid looks good, and you know, it takes a while to get your feet under you in this business, and
It does.
but it looks like you know he's headed in the right direction.
Definitely.
so-
He met Sting there. I introduced him to Sting. I introduced him to Buff Bagwell. and they both were in awe when they saw him, because they knew him when he was a little kid,
right?
Because Brian used to take him to the shows when he was like 4 or 5 years old. So they both told Royce that he's a second generation wrestler, and he already has his foot in the door in the WWE.
Nice. Yeah, I think that he's got the look, and I'd like to hear him talk a bit. And
Yes.
I'm sure there's stuff out there that, interviews and stuff out there that he's done. But I mean, if he can work the mic, I mean, he's got the look. His work seems solid. Where is he? What's his area these days? Where can we usually find him? Tampa Bay. Okay,
Tampa,
right on. Excellent. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Sounds good.
There we go. Yes, indeed. The Haddonfield Holiday Meals Cookbook from Shar Jackson. Her and I have been working on a bunch of stuff. She has a whole series of them called Fear Fest. And did a Halloween one. There's a Nightmare on Elm Street one. There's just a whole bunch of them, and they're a lot of fun. And the quality is great. Nice hardcover cookbook. Some great recipes in there. So, hit up BobbyMurphyBooks.com if you guys are interested in that, and grab yourself a copy. It's good stuff. So back to you, my friend. So you've been in the business for about a year now. What are some of your standout moments in this first year?
Standout moments? I feel like the most I've gotten so far is when I went on to Shine Wrestling in OCC Roadhouse in Clearwater. That was my match with, trying to remember my opponents because there's been a few opponents.
You're too young to forget this stuff. So
Yeah. I know. At WWN Monday Night Mayhem, the night after that was with Kaya McKenna. I will sit sometimes and just watch that match 1,000 times. She does give a really mean kick to the ribs, though, I will say.
Okay.
That was pretty good. It was a pretty sweet moment after that match. She shook my hand, and it was kind of like passing the torch to like entering the business, kind of like a, hey, you're here, welcome in.
Nice.
You're doing great, kid. And it was kind of special. It was a really special moment for me because I look up to her. She's great. She was great to work with. No bad blood with her, even after that nasty kick, though. But I'm probably gonna have to get back at her at some point.
Give her a receipt. Yeah. That's how we do it. There's been and I guess we can kind of go back about a decade now. I think the women's revolution in NXT with Charlotte and Bayley and all them. There's been a tremendous growth of female talent entering the business.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of them. And this is the weird thing too, is there's always talk about, oh, this guy's a second generation star. This guy's a second generation star. But I've seen Tess Blanchard work. I've seen Teal Piper work. I mean, they they are doing their fathers proud, and they are second generation wrestlers. And Teal was great.
Teal's amazing. I'm very privileged that I get to train with Teal Piper, actually. I started training with her last week. It's been amazing. Working with Teal, Deimos, and everybody else there has been completely different than what I'm used to. They get excited when I get excited about learning things. Like whenever I learn something new, just everybody around kind of gets like the zoomies, like little puppies.
Nice.
We all just get really excited for each other. It's always a great time over there.
Excellent.
I love working with Teal and Deimos. They're great.
Yeah, we Teal was in at the VPW event back in September, and I had a chance to talk with her, and it just absolute wonderful person, very nice. She'll be at the next show, I believe.
Yes, she will.
Excellent. So I look forward to that. I look forward to seeing her because again, she was really nice. We talked for a few minutes. There was the influx of talent there. The kids that came to that, I call them kids. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm almost 50. So, if you're younger than my kid, then, then I may refer to you as a kid. But just, the Rewind Society, those guys, they impressed me. They've got something there. And then, of course, we saw the return of Austin Aries.
Yes.
Austin, I hands down one of the best workers I've ever seen. I mean, the guy's got talent to spare. He's good on the mic. Have you had any interactions with him? I mean, because I hear his attitude is generally the problem.
Actually, I think his attitude was awesome.
Okay.
He was very pleasant. He was very, he wasn't standoffish at all. We talked for a little bit, and I actually saw him again because I also worked backstage at MLW. I was there. It was 2 months. I think it was the end of September. We were in Dallas, Texas. I drove all the ring apron and all the gimmicks from Tampa to Dallas for that show.
Okay.
Great time. We talked. He remembered me from VPW, and he's an awesome worker.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
At least not at this point.
Sure.
Things could change.
Oh yeah. I mean, and there was a lot of, I can understand, because you took him from Ring of Honor and TNA, and you put him in the WWE, and you slapped the 205 label on him, and and not taking anything away from the guys that were working that show, but he was the TNA World Champion, and now he's in a cruiserweight division that barely anybody is watching because for some reason you had to put it on a second show instead of looking at what Bischoff did back in the 90s and say, let's start the show with these exciting matches. So, I mean, I can understand why, that would certainly be frustrating because you're being held back. You can do better. And I think it's worse like when the people that you're working for also know you can do better, but for whatever reason, just don't want to put the energy behind it.
Won't help you progress. Yeah.
Well, he was great in TNA. He started there after I had left work, and I used to work there backstage for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was in charge of getting the ring to the house shows.
Oh, nice.
I drove the ring there in a truck. I had to pick up the truck in Nashville, go to our storage lot, grab some help. We loaded, drove there, got there, and I was in charge of putting the ring together.
Nice. So how did you come across BPW? Was that through Angel or Gary, or like what was your in there?
Gary.
Okay, right on.
Gary.
I like Gary. He's a straight shooter. Him and I did a book together this year, and he just super nice guy and always around. Like if I have questions and stuff, he's always like, yeah, man, no problem. Hit me up.
I went there as a vendor first because I also work for True Vet Solutions. We help veterans get their disability benefits through the VA.
Nice.
Even if
very nice.
So we set up a table there. You know, Gary knew my background because I told him the first time we talked, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time for PW because their color commentator never showed up.
Right.
He put me on, and then after I was done, he called me. He said, "You're in." He goes, "I heard nothing but good things about you, so we're keeping you around."
Excellent.
So then me and Angel were talking. Me and Angel have been talking constantly. I brought in 3 sponsors already for this next show. Just one today.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, we're doing we have a gun show promoter from coming in to promote his gun shows.
Okay. Right on. Right on.
Next level shows.
We're working on the magazine right now, or I'm working on the magazine right now. I'm gathering the basics for that. I'd like to have it out for that show at the end of January. It's entirely possible. And it's one of those things where, you know, the great feeling about the VPW show, and earlier in the year, I had been up in Philly for the one and done with TNA, or not TNA, with Tri-State TWA. TWA. And it had been a long time since I had been to an indie show. It had been a long time since I had been to a wrestling show. My wife's really not a fan, and but it was so nice to be there because the families were excited, the fans were excited, the kids were having a ball. And for me, that takes me back to when I was that age and going up to the New Haven Coliseum and seeing, you know, shows there. I think the first wrestling show I ever saw was in a high school gym, the WWE's.
Same here.
You know, WWF might have been a C show or possibly a B show. Yeah. Met Junkyard Dog. After he won his match, he invited all the kids into the ring to not grab them cakes, but, you know, do the little dancing. And so from there I was hooked. And then, I mean, I've been to Nitros, I've been to pay-per-views, I've been to SmackDowns and everything, but the feeling in the building in Florida back in September, it was just totally different. And
it really was. I mean, it was packed house too. We were sold out.
Oh yeah. There was not a place to put another chair in there. It was great.
There was.
And everybody was just hyped up to be there and happy to be working, you know, or be in the crowd as a fan or be a vendor, or, I mean, it was just, the entire experience was a very positive experience. I think the fans had a great time, and I'm really looking forward to this next show. I mean, my end of things now is kind of like I'm taking care of all the TV stuff. That's where Angel, like when Angel and I first started talking, it was to grow the network. I was uploading content for her and stuff, and then eventually she was like, "You just want to run the network?" I'm like, "Sure, okay." So now I'm building that. You know, I want, between the public domain stuff and the original content, by the end of February, I'm hoping we'll be at like 80% original content.
That's nice.
That's my goal. I've got, because we've got so many different shows happening, and the indie feds are getting on board, and more musicians are getting on board. And so there's a lot of the indie horror directors, they're loving my ass right now. So, you know, it's getting all these people out. But the thing I love about it is, and the reason why I do what I do is because the energy that these men and women have, these indie creators who don't have, you know, big budgets, or they don't have, thousands of dollars to do, you know, to go here, go there, whatever the case may be. They're the ones that are busting their asses out there, you know, and they're the ones who deserve a spotlight, which is why I'm glad that you and I are doing this. You know, the three of us are doing this, because there's not enough of a, you know, and I don't want, it's kind of weird, because I know for a lot of people the goal is Stanford. I understand. I grew up in Connecticut. I was 20 minutes from the headquarters.
Jersey, so we were neighbors.
Yeah, my mother's office when I was a kid was literally 2 doors down from Titan Towers. So I grew up in that in that neck of the woods, but I don't know honestly. I mean, money wise, obviously, but I don't know for some people if that's like their end goal anymore. I mean, if you look at the mess that company is in right now, $37,000 for WrestleMania tickets. No, thank you.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, for front row
Don't even get me
WrestleMania.
started on it.
It's insane,
It is.
and the scarier part about it is that the brain surgeon running KO Sports or whatever the hell it's called came out and said that WWE tickets are at about 54% of what UFC tickets sell for, and their goal is to get them up to the same price. Now, love Vince, hate Vince, feel however you want to feel about Vince. Vince did his very best to keep it affordable.
Yeah,
Yes.
even like family prices.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
he
first
did.
WWF pay-per-view I went to was No Way Out 2000 in Hartford with the Hell in the Cell, Foley and Triple H, and I think my ticket cost $35. I think, and I mean I was sitting, first tier, but still,
I think the first WrestleMania was $20 or $25.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Definitely different than today. And I feel like that's kind of scary to me because I feel like families connect through wrestling. I mean, this is like this is within American culture now.
Oh, yeah.
It's been going on since carnival days. And I feel like making the prices higher kind of push people away aside from like the extremely wealthy people because I would love to go to an event one day, but at the same time, I fear I have to wait to be the event at that point.
Right.
'Cause it's just so expensive now. And I feel like that's kind of worrying to me. I'm afraid that's kind of going to break their business somehow because you keep upping and upping and upping and upping the prices. There's only so many rich people in the world. There's so many families who don't have that much money.
oh
But
yeah,
they would love to go. And I feel like those are the families that deserve to go. And I've seen like so many people, even now on WWE, especially celebrities, who know nothing about the business, like don't know anything about the business, but just kind of go there just so their face is seen on Monday Night Raw.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's kind of like a wasted seat for like a kid, a family, anybody. And I feel like we kind of need to do a little bit better on that. Just kind of so everybody's involved. Because if one group is specifically involved and that's just the rich people and, the actual real fans who want to see this live and see the energy and see the men and women that are talented and have worked so hard to show that talent off, especially to their main fans.
Right.
We're kind of leaving people out, and that's not good.
And that's why you families need to say the hell with the WWE and go to your local independent wrestling shows, support them, take a whole family and only spend $50 for the whole night.
I mean,
Right.
I love interacting with families, especially kids, because my whole thing, I have a niece. I have two nieces, and my biggest thing was to just show those little girls, like, if you want to do something, you can do it as long as you work your little butt off. And I've been working my little butt off a lot for the last year, and I would love for those two little princesses to go to one of my shows because like every time I interact with a little girl or a little boy, it warms my heart a lot. I love interacting with families. I love talking to kids and meeting families, especially the little ones. I want to make a very big, great impression to them just so, one day they can point at their TV to their own kid and be like, I met her one day and she was awesome. She was great. And I feel like that's what's great about independent wrestling is when, you start from the bottom up and then eventually you get to the heights and everybody you've met and have made great impressions towards remember you and they talk so great about you. And I feel like that's what's really special about independent wrestling is everybody's a family. The fans are the family. Everybody in wrestling is the family. It's like just a whole big family. It's very connected to me. I love it.
It's one of those things. And when I started doing the biographies this year, a lot of the guys, they would ask me, they'd be like, why do you say they would be like, do you think people will want to read this? And my wife, who is quite brilliant, said to me, here's why they want to read it. They want to read about their stories because wrestling is a part of their story.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's genius. Like, Gary Wolf is the pit bull in the ring. You know what he did in ECW. But what's Gary Wolf the guy like? A great fucking guy, in my opinion. And Candy's a delight. I love working with Candy. I did a book. The most humbling experience that I've had in the last year was, and I marked out, and I told him when I had him on the phone for the very first time, I told him, I said, I'm going to mark out for about 5 minutes, is when I got to talk to Bill Eadie. Because growing up, I was a Demolition kid. I loved Demolition. I had the posters. I had the little Hasbro guys. I had everything. So the first time I got to talk to Bill on the phone, I was just like, so I was like, I said, Bill, I said, I'm going to mark out just one time. I said, I'm a professional. We're here to do a project together. We're here to do it. It's all good. But one time, real quick, I have to, I got to go a little, ooh, because, come on, man. It's Bill Eadie. I have never, in all the people I've talked to in this last year, I have never heard anybody say a bad word about that man. Everything that I hear about Bill, and even when we were doing the book, I asked Rip Rogers for a blurb for the back cover. And he's like, okay, yeah, that's not a problem. I was like, all right, cool. I said, just send it to me. He's like, no, the hell with that. We're going to do it right now. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He says, what did he say? Hold on. Not to shamelessly self-promote here, but Mass Superstar. Rip Rogers said, Bill was one of the most respected guys in the pro wrestling business. I have no idea why he wore that stupid mask. What a handsome man he was with those striking eyes. So, yeah, so this is weird. The timing on this book worked out very weird, and I'll tell you guys the story, and then we'll take a quick commercial. We'll come back and we'll talk about Chrissy. But 2 weeks after Bill signed the contract with me to do this book, they called him from Stanford with the Legends deal. And apparently the Legends deal, although I'm questioning that too, apparently the Legends deal, everything has to go through Stanford. Everything that they do has to go through Stanford. Books, all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So this is what a good guy Bill Eadie is. He had them on the phone. He got the contract. He had them on the phone, and he said to them, I've looked over the contract. I have no disagreements but one. He says, 2 weeks ago, I signed with this publisher to do my life story. I have given him my word. If you guys are okay with that, then I'll sign the contract and we'll move forward. If not, I'm not signing the contract. And I was just like, but that's the kind of stand-up guy Bill is.
But I feel like that's kind of sometimes the thing you got to do is kind of make sure you tell others, just stand your ground, make it clear, show your dominance off a little bit. And talking about the mark thing again, real quick, I feel like at the end of the day, we're all marks. I feel like that's what even got us wrestlers into wrestling was watching other wrestlers like AJ Lee, Chyna, Rhea Ripley, the Liv Morgans, every girl. Just, I'll admit, I'll mark out over I mark out any day. And I feel like that's kind of what helps us all connect, even the wrestlers today now. Oh, yeah. It's we all get to bond over who got us into wrestling and who's great and just all of these storylines. And I feel like, it's not just the fans that are a mark. I feel like all of us are honestly kind of marks. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with it. I feel like we're all fans. We're all fans of each other. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And those of us who don't belong in the ring should stay the hell out of the ring.
So
many people.
Did you, speaking of that, did you see I sent you the video of this promotion?
Yes.
I haven't even gotten back to him yet. And
I mean, it looked like the 9 people who were there were having a really good time.
You saw 9? I didn't even see that many.
Maybe it was 7. I don't know. There was a woman in a wheelchair, I think, and somebody standing on a porch or on a. You know, I don't.
Now the wrestlers weren't too bad.
Yeah, they were really good.
They weren't too bad, but the
setup was
oh my God! How'd you like the curtains ripped up tarps? Talk about your backyard wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean,
we don't want that on this network.
No,
you know what? They do have the talent in the ring. I definitely saw that they can put in the work. They can do that.
And I am going to get back to him and let him know that. I'm going to let them know if you get everything polished, you make it look good for TV, and we can talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, look at we ran the ad before for JCW. You know, the clowns started off in the backyard.
Yes.
You know, and they've been doing this now. 40 years now? 35 years? I mean, JCW has been a thing since before they were the clowns. So, like, they've been doing this a long time. You know, one of my co-hosts on one of my other shows, Izzy, you know, he worked with all those cats for a long time. I've had a lot of JCW guys on my show. And I mean, they're killing it out there. You know, the YouTube show looks great. You know, they're getting you know that buzz behind them, and you know, there's some tremendous talent working there right now, and I'm hoping to get out to the gathering next year. I was going to go this year, but the timing didn't work out for me, so I'm hoping to go next year. And I want to see what that's all about. We're going to take a quick commercial, and we'll be right back. This is for our upcoming game show that'll be here and hosted by a very special host. All right. Yes. No, he'll be back in a moment. That's okay.
It's adjusting his hair, you know. we're in competition of who looks best right now. So
Fair enough. So yeah, that's our new game show, which will be launching in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. That looks great.
Yeah,
it caught my eye for sure.
Yeah, the host of my co-host, or no, I'm not on that one. I'm just driving the car from behind. Because I do like 6 podcasts a week. And I've got, this is a new one, and then after we're done, in about an hour after we finish, I got to go do another one. So
busy work.
I am very busy.
Busy.
My life is. I mean, we did a bunch of books this year. We put out a movie.
That's awesome.
Working on a TV series. It's crazy. It's been so nuts, but everything is firing off, and we're growing, and VPW is growing, and Yakuza TV is growing, and it's a lot of positive energy coming out of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody. I mean, there's the usual, you know, nonsense. It's the wrestling business. But for the most part, you know, things. Yeah, I heard a rumor.
Okay, I've never seen that.
No, kind of weird. So Chrissy Vane,
yes, the goddess,
was in the WWE.
Yes.
When did you first meet her?
I met her over 20 years ago. She was one of the first guests on my radio show that I had back in, I started in 2005. Yeah, I was on FM radio in Nashville. I had a show called Pro Wrestling and Film Talk.
Cool.
Let's see, her and Amber O'Neill were two of my first guests.
Nice.
They were the tag team known as Blondage.
Good name. Good
Both great people. Chrissy, kind of had to stop for a while. She's got an 8-year-old boy.
Yep.
She recently got back into it. She doesn't like dealing with the business end of it, so I'm working with her as her manager.
Nice.
She also has an agent who I know very well, who is married to Leilani Kai.
Ah, okay.
Steve stays yet. Good dude. I was there when he first got into the wrestling business in Nashville. He started coming work with us at USA Championship Wrestling.
Steve, he's the book of Pro Wrestler.
Yes.
That's him. Okay.
Yes, that is him.
All right.
So,
well, that's I looked at some of the older stuff. I looked at some of the WWF stuff, but the match that I found is Chrissy Vane versus who? I don't know. It looks like it's we'll just play it and I will know who it is. Hold on.
That's the perfect way.
TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Yeah, Chrissy Vane close to the mother and father of Tsunami. As a matter of fact, in WWE Deep South Developmental, they all worked together and wrestled together. Tsunami was just a baby. So Chrissy known her all her life. It's amazing that they've grown up in this business and know each other, and now they're facing off.
Yeah, I understand during Tsunami's mother's matches back in the day, Chrissy would help watch after her, take care of her, almost had a motherly type relationship with her, but that will not be the case tonight because no time to coddle, no time to care for you, because now you're in the deep waters, now you're in the ring, and you're competition. And Chrissy Vane, we saw 24 hours ago, her contest for the NWA Women's Television Championship, and a veteran like Chrissy Vane is going into a matchup like this thinking, I cannot get close to that title anytime soon if I go down 0-2 in the same weekend.
Absolutely, and Tsunami's not that little girl anymore. She's really had a change of heart. She's kind of a dark-minded young lady who definitely is aggressive in the ring.
Tsunami's had success in her own right, showcased on national syndicated television on the WOW Women of Wrestling
There's a movie
program.
you don't see that much anymore.
Shout out Dave McClain and everything he does there.
The knuckle lock, the test of
that is
truth thing
enough to overcome veteran instincts of Chrissy Vane.
Not doing anything.
Tsunami already getting frustrated. She's a very edgy girl.
I think Tsunami's coming into this matchup thinking, I've got something to prove, right? Chrissy Vane may look at me as that little girl she once knew. She may look at me as a dreamer or just somebody who, is in over her head. But Tsunami can erase any of those doubts. But I think the problem is, Ronnie, when you head into a matchup very emotionally charged, I think you're more prone to make a mistake.
Yeah, there definitely could be a little bit of nerves and intimidation factor just because of their relationship when she was a young girl.
Now, Vane able to charge in and pressing advantage. Nobody there in the corner. Tsunami showing off the power.
Grabbing that hair and throwing her all the way across the ring.
I wouldn't be surprised if Vane ran in the back of her head. Just such a jarring
like the
impact.
production quality.
And no control over her landing.
Chrissy
And
was an awesome
Tsunami
wrestler.
pressing that advantage. And you mentioned Tsunami on a more darker path. How do you think Tsunami's mother feels about that path?
You know, I've had lots of conversations with Tracy, a.k.a. Kalaki from WOW. She really wants to help Tsunami, help develop her. And, you know, Tsunami wants to do it on her own. She wants to do a different path. And, you know, I know that her mom would definitely like to take her under her wing, maybe even tag team with her. But right now, Tsunami is just focused on Tsunami.
I think you see it a lot in second-generation talents as far as, do you want to shun your past, make a name off of yourself exclusively, or do you embrace your heritage and your family name? And we've seen several have success on either side of that coin, but it certainly seems like there's a chip on Tsunami's shoulder and maybe a checklist to go through before she's satisfied.
One more time.
Absolutely. And, you know, the tragic loss of her father, Micah Taylor, just recently, you know, is still ingrained in there. I know she's got something to prove. She's got a lot going on inside, and I think she's a fantastic athlete. Maybe she'll decide one day to team with her mother, but right now she's a formidable foe for Chrissy Bain. You know what I mean?
Micah is someone I don't believe I've had a chance to work with, but heard nothing but great things about through the years. Incredible genetics. Chinlock cinched in. You can see Tsunami leading in with it. All the
Deadly is
pressure
holding
applied,
us.
very tightly cinched in. And we were talking earlier in the matchup about the genetics, about the acumen in the ring of both of the parents of this particular athlete, Tsunami, and no doubt that talent has been passed on to the next generation in a big way, but certainly the jawbreaker of Chrissy Bain, there may be no substitute for in-ring experience for doing it bell to bell, as Bain is charging back, but man, getting into a slugfest with a powerhouse like Tsunami is a daunting task.
Yes, this has to be an emotional thing going on between these two women.
Yeah, Bain used to hold young infant Tsunami and console her and tell her mommy will be okay, but now it's Bain looking to make sure Tsunami is not okay. And I applaud these athletes for what seems to be leaving any personal baggage out of this. It's a DDT by Bain into the cover. Will this be it? 2 count only, and the 2 counts keep getting longer. Bain half a second away. Going into the cover, into the
Oh no! A dastardly heel
Took the
move.
shortcut right there, Joe.
I can't believe it. I knew Tsunami.
TitleMatchNetwork.com.
But you know what? I still think Chrissy showed her, you know, exactly who she is, because I definitely think Tsunami got a little bit over her head and a little bit egotistical when she, you know, got, you know, her stuff in on Chrissy, but Chrissy got back up and she was like, no,
She did.
this is who's boss. You know your place here, please.
She absolutely did.
And
Yes.
nice DDT.
That was really good.
They asked Jake Roberts once what he thought about everybody using the DDT and people kicking out of it, and he's like, "Well, I guess I'm the only one who ever did it right." We're like, "All right, Jake."
Yeah.
Sure, man.
He did have the best one.
He really did. Him,
Yeah.
I would say him and Raven. The Raven effect was always a
Raven
good,
did,
a clean looking move. So you K9, you work with both sides of the spectrum. You work with the indie folks that are just coming up for the first time,
right?
And then you're working with people who have already been to the show, so to speak.
Yes. Yes. My longtime partnership as a manager on the indie circuit was primetime Brian Lee for many years.
Nice.
Yes.
The Underfaker.
Yep. And Chains with DOA.
Yep. Right
He was
on.
in Smoky Wrestling. He was in USA Wrestling in Memphis with Jerry Lawler. Yep, I worked with him for a very long time.
Smoky Mountain, man, talk about. There was so much talent in and out of there. My God.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's where New Jack comes from. You know, the gangsters came from. And then they.
Yeah. New Jack's something else.
Yeah, Jack. Unfortunately, I never had a chance to meet him. But I've heard enough stories where now I'm kind of like, maybe that's not a bad thing. Yeah. So it's nice to see, like in that match, where the veteran is showing. I don't know how long Tsunami's been wrestling, but you know, the veteran is showing her the way, you know, how to do business. And that's one of the things that I find, you know, the younger talent now, the new folks that are coming into the business, the ones who are being trained the right way. And this is a thing that happens. I mean, there's a lot of shady wrestling trainers out there. We all know that.
Yes, we do. That's why she's with me now.
Yeah.
Out of this bad situation.
Yeah, really bad.
The performance center is just turning out cookie cutter at this point. You know, it's
that's all they are.
You know, and the toughest part about it is how different NXT is from when it was 10 years ago. It's like, because they got all of the, you know, they had Finn Balor, they had Sami Zayn, they had Pac, they had you know, all of the talent, but that's the difference though, was that those guys and girls were already out there working in the world. You know, Prince Devitt was, you know, leading Bullet Club in Japan. You know, so they had this experienced group that they were like, okay, we can bring them in.
Right
now they're bringing in, you know, and again, I mean, nothing against anybody. If you want to try to become a wrestler, knock yourself out. Like I was asked once, I was already way too beat up because of the life that I used to live, that, you know, I was like, I appreciate the offer because I'm 6'4", you know, and at that time it was probably about 240 pounds. So I was, you know, I was perfect for what they wanted, but, you know, but now they're bringing in, you know, football players. They're bringing in, you know, if you are an athlete somewhere, do something, they have interest. And it's like, first off, it's not easy. You know, I've never wrestled a day in my life, but I have seen enough wrestling. I have read enough wrestling. I know enough wrestlers to know this is not an easy lifestyle.
No, and I'd like to say something about that real quick.
Sure.
The fact that they're bringing in people from other sports, other genres of sports, to me is freaking stupid with all the great independent wrestlers that we have around the world.
One thing I definitely noticed is, well, first of all, I absolutely hate it when even people, when I tell them, you know, hey, yeah, I'm a pro wrestler, immediately first thing I hear is, it's fake, right? No. The things we do in that ring are absolutely not fake. We put our bodies on the line.
Oh yeah.
We put our bodies on the line, but it's something we love. And I think one thing I noticed within the Performance Center is, like you said, now we're bringing in people from different sports and, you know, other things. And one thing I definitely notice is we're also bringing in people who also don't know anything about wrestling, and, you know, people who also don't have that same passion. Like, I've seen interviews of so many people from the Performance Center who have gone, you know, yeah, I've never watched wrestling, but, you know, I took the opportunity. And with the most respect, that kind of sucks a little bit, because there's so many independent talent out there, especially now and today, especially like the younger generation right now. I mean, we're as young as we can get right now. We only have so much time. And it's kind of a little bit degrading when, you know, we're choosing people who don't have the passion and love and intensity and energy for the wrestling. And they have the passion for their own, you know, sports. And that's great. And I feel like, you know, you should kind of stay in that, because we're wasting so many spots here. I mean, there's so many great talent here. Like Fallen Gray, she's great. I love her work. Fallen Gray, Brittany Brooks, Hollywood Haley J, they're all great. And I would love to see these women, especially independent women, on the indie talent, on the indie talent, but also in the big leagues, because that's what I see in them. I see big leagues, and that's like the goal for all of us. That's the goal for me. And it's just a little degrading when we pick people who don't have that same passion as we do, because that's mainly why we want to get there. We want to get there to not only be in the big leagues, but also just show off our talent, show off our love and our passion for it, especially our characters and just ourselves. And I feel like, back to the books, like you mentioned, I love the books, especially because you get to learn so much. You get to learn about why somebody got into it, how they got into it, and even how it helped them. Because I'm going to get a little real here. We do have a lot of things going on in our head a lot. And I feel like that's not as talked about as much these days, I've noticed.
Right.
I mean,
does that mean I got to get your therapist?
No, the ring is the therapist.
Okay,
yeah, the ring is the therapist. Yep. But it's like, I love hearing about the real stories of people and kind of the realism, because it opens that relatability and connection with the fans, especially like with AJ Lee and her book. She's all about mental health, and I love that so much, because mental health needs to be talked about, and we've lost so many wrestlers to mental health, unfortunately. And I feel like that's the biggest thing, especially in wrestling now, because it is a competitive locker room. You know, we're all here to get to the same place, and we're all here for each other. But there's unfortunately those bullies in wrestling who don't want to see you succeed. And it's kind of one man for themselves at this point, and they'll knock down anybody. I mean, I've had people try knocking me down, and it definitely is impactful. Like, there have been times, and thank God, but there have been definitely times where people have told me that I'm not good enough, I shouldn't even be in the business, and each time it's like, ow, geez.
Right. Don't even
we're all here together.
Give them the finger and keep doing what you're doing.
Give them the finger,
right there.
Or my favorite, a classic low blow.
There you go.
Classic
there you go.
There you go.
I'm still a big fan of the DX crotch shot myself, so you know.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I want to add to that, you know, when you said the ring is therapy. Well, at Veteran Pro Wrestling, we help, you know, a lot of wrestlers are veterans, and those veterans wrestle because it helps them through their PTSD.
Yeah. And that's what
that is important.
I really like that part, because in wrestling, that's mainly why I got into it, because, you know, there is so much stuff that happens in our lives, and sometimes you want an escape. You kind of want to be, I mean, I've sat in life so many times, especially throughout high school, to where it's like, damn, I wish I could be a whole different person right now and just live a way better life. And I feel like that's the great part about wrestling, is you get to build this person that's not only a part of you, but like different. You get to be somebody else, and you get to escape a little bit, and you get to work with amazing people. And I feel like that's what the magic is in wrestling. And I feel like that's even the best part as a wrestler, is building, you know, your storyline, your name, your character, your business, your platform, and building that with other wrestlers too. And it's great.
Absolutely is. Absolutely is.
And it's one of those things, and it's I tell my writers this, I tell my filmmakers this, all the people that I work with, everything is a collaborative effort. Life is a collaborative effort.
Yes, it is. Life is a work.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you're a writer, writing is a solo project up until a point. And then you need editors, you need, you know, this, that, and the other thing. Nobody can do it by themselves. No. So the important thing is, and this is one of the things that I've learned, and K9, I'm sure you've run across it in your years. The worst thing that somebody can say to you is no. You know, I ask is no. I talk to people all the time. I have no qualms about asking people, hey, you want to come on my show? Hey, you want to do a book? Hey, you want to, I have no problems because in all of the people that I've talked to, the worst thing I was ever told was, no, sorry, we don't do podcast. Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nobody's ever told me to go fuck off or anything like that. They're always pretty nice. Now, the funniest thing is
that ignore me.
Exactly. Or be uncomfortable, like you say.
Yes.
When you're uncomfortable, he says it all the time. When you're in an uncomfortable situation and you're doing something that continues to make you uncomfortable, you're not happy.
No, definitely not.
That's why I have 2 ex-wives.
It's better to say no than say yes to something you don't want to really be a part of.
Right. No, exactly.
And now, any talent that I work with, anybody that I work with, any talent, I let them know.
Sure.
I have this booking for you. Would you like to do it? Yes or no? If you tell me no, I'm not going to be mad.
Right.
If you don't want to do it, you don't do it. The only time I expect anybody to do anything is if they commit to it in the first place.
Yep.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Now, K9, you've been around the business for a while, and I want to ask this question. With the WWE, whatever, finally getting serious about drug testing, they've recently relaxed the rules on marijuana. Mm-hmm. Now, for me, and where I live, marijuana is legal. I smoke weed. It helps me balance my mental health issues.
It helps me sleep.
Yeah. And these guys now, they can get out of the ring. They can go back to the hotel. They can smoke a joint. They can go to sleep.
Right.
You don't have to, you're getting rid of the painkillers. You're getting rid of the alcohol, so I'm glad to see that change is coming. And I also really don't remember, because we lost a slew of people like in a real short period of time a few years ago. And most of it was either directly drug related or heart conditions or, things that they didn't have until they were in the business. So I'm kind of glad to see that they're coming around on their thinking. Because again, it's so much safer. I've never, ever in my life met a pothead who overdosed. Maybe on cookies, but definitely not on. So I'm glad to see that's finally happening. Because really, it's so much easier. It really, you don't want to, and then there's no addiction. Really, I'm addicted to marijuana. Right. No, you're not.
I don't know God's secret medicine, honestly, because the painkillers are so bad for you. They're chemical, especially like prescriptions. People will prescribe you so much medication,
because they get
and that just causes even more issues, even for you to even get more medication. And once you get more medication, you have to get more medication for that medication. Right. But when I hear about marijuana, I hear all good things. You either feel really happy, really hungry, and that's the only thing. Happy, hungry, sleepy.
The hungry, yeah.
Nothing's wrong with that. And honestly, I'd rather do something that comes straight from the ground and earth than do something that's straight from the bottle and not safe. Because you can lose track of how many painkillers you take. You can lose track
absolutely
of how many medications you take. But with marijuana, there's honestly no limitation at all. And especially in wrestling, it's absolutely something you need, because it helps relaxes your body. It helps get you outside of your head, and dare I say, even when you're in that little silly mood, it's a mind opener.
It is
too. You come up with so many ideas. So many people come to me ideas, just random ideas, thoughts, curious thoughts too.
Oh yeah.
And it must work pretty good. Van Damme looks great, and he's like what?
Yeah.
60 now, I think. So yeah, it's an exciting time, and I'm really glad that the three of us are going to take this on. I think there's so much to talk about. The indie scene, it's so exciting, and I'm I'm in a weird space because I'm not a wrestler. I've never been. I'm not a booker. I'm the TV guy, and I'm a
But you know
publisher.
what? I feel like it's kind of good for that because like you kind of get to be a fly in the wall. It's not only as like a professional like person, but also like a fan. You get to like meet so many people that you admire, and you kind of get to like just see everything and be like, oh, that's
Right.
cool. I like that. I want to talk to you about that. And I feel like that's kind of what's great about your job.
I just had a brain fart.
Yeah.
The name for the podcast,
Fire away.
the DDT Wrestling Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
All right.
What do you? I mean,
I can.
I like it. You would think of other names. Like,
Yeah. Because now, like, I've become a visual thinker at this point. Like when I'm writing, or everything is automatically, this is going to make a TV show, or this is going to make a
right.
But so like when you say that, the first thing that goes into my head was, okay, what does the logo look like? But I can see some options there. We can play around.
We could do
probably something fun where somebody's holding a mic mid DDT.
it could be the DDT Wrestling Podcast or the DDT Indie Wrestling Podcast.
I like it indeed. I will start playing around with some samples. This, folks, is the first of hopefully what will be a nice run of shows where we will talk every week about some of the folks that are coming up in the indies, folks that you want to go out and see, federations that are in your area. If you're a wrestling fan, go out and support these guys and girls because you're going to get, an evening full of entertainment for $20.
Even really good quality. Like,
Yep, absolutely. I remember going to an MLW. Now, in 2002, I went to see an MLW show. So I don't know if it's the same MLW that exists now.
It is.
It is.
Yes.
Okay. And they were at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York. And those tickets were $25, I think. And the show was like 3.5 hours long.
Yes, it was.
Terry Funk was there. Dick Togo was there. I mean, it was a great lineup.
And there's a meet and greet for at least an hour before the matches even start.
I feel like that helps the fans, like,
absolutely.
Especially when the show starts, because like when you connect with, like, say one of your biggest fans comes over, you want to hold the greatest impression, not only to make that moment magical, but also so they can be the loudest, because it's degrading if a fan comes to you, especially during a meet and greet where they're putting their money towards you, especially, and you're kind of just giving them standoffish vibes. You're not willing to connect, and you're just kind of being like a real life dry texter, and that kind of removes the connection.
I saw a few weeks ago. It was footage from a fan fest, and Warlord was there. Terry was there, and he stayed for like an extra hour after the show ended because he still had a line of people, and he signed every single autograph. He took pictures with every single person that was there, and they will remember that. The same day, I see footage of CM Punk pushing, like ignoring some kid who's asking,
I saw that too.
Yeah.
I saw that also. Yep.
And I'm like, really? Like, you couldn't have taken 3 seconds, 5 seconds to give that kid a memory that's going to last the rest of his life. Now the memory that he has is you blowing him off.
Exactly.
It's it's crazy to me. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot like that. Now, speaking of FanFest, we are going to be at the Wrestle Expo next weekend.
Nice.
Right here in Clearwater, Florida at the OCC Roadhouse.
Yep.
It's called Wrestle Expo. It is December 13th and 14th, and also matches on the 15th.
Nice.
Wrestling Fest Wrestle Expo is being awesome. Brutus the Barber Beefcake will be there. Sonny Ono. There's just so many wrestlers coming in. I have Chrissy Vane and Cassidy will be together.
Excellent.
I will be setting up a table for the Cauliflower Alley Club to recruit new members.
Nice.
And for On the Fly to get more participants. And also I own my own jerky label, so we have our jerky table set up because my jerky label is sponsoring both Cassidy and Chrissy.
Nice.
Royce Adams will be there with us, and I just talked to Gary Wolf this evening, and he wants to come be there and sit at the table with us. We're
Excellent.
also going to be promoting our show January 24th at Veterans Pro Wrestling, but I want to mention the week before, Veterans Pro Wrestling is invading the Twisted Wrestling Alliance in Englewood, Florida. And it's going to be amazing. Archangel, Angela Orsini versus Chrissy Vane.
Yep. And
My
I
vote's with Chrissy on that one.
Don't let
I
Angel do that.
I know a thing or two, perhaps. I know a thing or two. I'm actually going to be bringing in a guest with me for that show in January as well. So,
Oh, you know, okay, great.
Awesome.
yep,
That'd
I've
be
got
great.
it is actually I think it is current. It is one half of the current NWA World Tag Team Champions, Mr. Mike Knox. Will be joining us. He's coming down with me.
Nice.
To do some commentary, I think is what we were talking about. So
That'd be nice.
very cool. Yeah,
I
Mike's he's rehabbing a bicep tear, so he's not working too much. But he's I called him because him and I are doing a book together too. Actually, him and I are doing a couple of books together.
Yep. I will be watching Chrissy to make sure our Archangel doesn't break the rules.
She's you got to be careful with that one. You
Yes, you do. And I would like, if you don't mind, to give kudos and a tribute to the two people who were very important to me that got me into the wrestling business.
Okay.
The first, and I met her first, but do you remember? Of course, you remember the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling?
Of course, I work with Tiffany Mellon.
You remember Dallas?
Yep.
She's also the one that helped train the other female wrestlers.
Yep.
She is the one pretty instrumental to me being in the business. We became friends. She got me involved in my first promotion, which was Pacific Coast Championship Wrestling. That was in Hayward, California. Jerry Monty was the promoter. Jerry Monty was a big WWF wrestler in the 60s and 70s. And she introduced me to her then fiance, who took over, Jay the Alaskan York.
Oh, all right.
Do you remember that name?
I do know that name.
He was big in the 60s and 70s. He got me involved with Carl Lauer, who was a very prominent promoter in California.
Nice.
Great times. You'll love this. My first time working for them, I was working security, of course. And Carl came up to me. He says, I want you to guard the women's dressing room. Just stand right here. And the two women in the dressing room were former Glow ladies, Hollywood and Lightning.
Yep. Okay.
So I'm standing out there probably about 10 minutes. And I was already friends with Hollywood, with Jeannie and Cheryl.
Yeah.
And Hollywood opens the door and she looks at me and goes, what the hell are you doing standing out here? I said, Carl got me guarding you guys. She pulls me in the dressing room and shuts the door and says, come on in, hang out.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. It was a good time.
They did not talk to Netflix, did not talk to a single one of those women.
Nope.
When they did the Glow show. I was talking to Tiffany about it. She's like, nobody called anybody. They just took the name, they took the logo, and they completely built this fiction around it. And I'm like, God Almighty, most of those women are still with us. Why couldn't you have called some of them and been like, hey, technical consultants or whatever? I mean, give credit where credit is due here.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's the Glow thing. The TV show. I mean, I like the show, but I can see why it certainly pissed off those folks.
Do you know who was the main trainer for those girls?
On the show or
for the Glow? For the Glow, the head trainer that trained all Mondo Guerrero.
Yes. I was going to say I do know that because Tiffany and I have talked about that. So I like this a lot, folks. We're gonna roll on out of here. Hang tight after we go off here, and I'm gonna go out with one last ad. But we will be back. This will be debuting on Akuza on Thursdays during our wrestling block, which is from 7 to midnight on Thursday nights. All independent wrestling, podcast shows, the whole 9 yards. We cover wrestling from every possible angle. And that happens after the nightly I Wish I Had $1 Million movie. Because boy howdy, there's some horrible movies out there, and I love them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, horrible movies. The game show that we're launching in a couple of weeks is being hosted by Miss Rhonda Shear, who was from USA Up All Night. Yep. Now, the funny thing is, the crazy thing about that is Tiffany and Rhonda are friends. They've known each other a long, long time. And Tiffany, her and I talked a while back. I'm like, oh, I'd love to talk to her someday, blah, blah, blah. And then another person I know was recently on a TV special with her. So I had commented on I was like, oh, it looks great, blah, blah, blah. And then like the next thing I know, I'm getting a message from someone and it says it's Rhonda Shear. And I'm like, okay, now I'm a little, suspect, but so she said, hey, I saw your thing, et cetera, et cetera. Here's my number. Give me a call. I'd love to talk to you. So I called Tiffany and I was like, hey, what number do you have for Rhonda? And she gave me the number. I'm like, yeah, that's just like, why? I'm like, well, she called me or she left me a message. And she's like, oh, call her. She's great. So Rhonda's wonderful. And we're doing Brain Dead or Alive. That'll be debuting in a couple of weeks. A horror trivia show, kind of a mixture of some things, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And as always, Hitting the Books will be on Thursday nights. This show will be on Thursday nights. It's going to be packed. Our Thursday night wrestling is going to be great. And then every night of the week, I have at least 2 hours of wrestling content on because that's our basis. That's our, this is our where we come from. So between the wrestling stuff and the horror stuff, we're moving along pretty well. So,
love horror.
I used to be the MC for the. I can't even think anymore. It was we had Nashville, Tennessee. We had we had a tattoo and horror festival there that I was the MC of. Yep. It was put on by Slaughterhouse and another tattoo shop. Again, I'm lost. My freaking mind is shot. And I'm old and I had a lot of chair shots to the head in my days.
Yes.
Even Gardner.
I love horror a lot. I was like one of those weird kids that unfortunately or fortunately loved horror a lot. I got a lot of trouble. Especially in The Walking Dead. I was like so into The Walking Dead, and every time we had those drawing projects, I took it upon myself to draw my entire family as zombies, and my teachers would pull my parents aside every single pickup day and be like, what's going on here? Is she okay at home? And mom would be like, yeah, that's normal for her. She likes zombies. She likes drawing us as monsters.
And I remember the name now. It was the Full Moon Tattoo and Horror Festival put on by Lone Wolf Tattoo in Nashville, Tennessee.
Right on. It's funny how that's changed. When I was in middle school, I mean, I've been a writer a long, long time.
I don't think I remember that part back.
I used to write stories that took place in my school, like, crazy killers or like Jason would come or, people like Jason. And my classmates loved it. My teachers loved it. If I was to write a story like that today, they'd put me away.
You're right. You're right.
Hit the bricks, hit the hay.
They'd be like, oh no, well, you have to go talk to somebody. And I'm like, I'm just using, it. So it's a strange world nowadays, the things that we used to be able to do.
My teachers were already always worried about my home life, every day. Is she okay at home? Is she getting good sleep? And my parents were just like, she's just weird. She's just weird. It's okay.
And let her draw. There's nothing wrong with that. Weird is good. Weird is interesting.
It got me here. So
got you into wrestling, which absolutely lots of room for weird there.
I've got a great guest that I could have for you in the future.
Sure.
A good friend of mine by the name of Butch Patrick.
Mr. Eddie Munster.
Yes.
Out of curiosity, do you know Charles Rosenay?
I do not.
Okay. Because he does a lot. He does some stuff with Butch too. He's a promoter up in Connecticut.
Okay.
So, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up for tonight, and we'll be back next week for another episode, and we'll talk about what's hot in the world of indie wrestling and stuff that's going to go on this week. Some cards, some interesting cards shaping up. So we're gonna make sure you guys get all the news on that, especially the where and the when, because really go out there and check them out, man. Spend the $20.
Yes.
Go have a good time. Go see 2 hours, 3 hours of just folks who are doing it because they love doing it. And
what I love so much about like independent wrestling is like, we have some boundaries, but like not as much boundaries as like, WWE and AEW is kind of a little bit like independent, but independent, it's like you get to do whatever you want. You get to have whatever kind of crazy ass match you want. And in WWE, you kind of have to play the safe card, but anybody who is psychotic and loves wrestling should probably start training and get into the independents.
And in closing, people, remember one thing. Your WWE favorites, superstars, had to start somewhere. Where did they start? On the independent wrestling scene.
Absolutely. Folks, I am the THC along with K9 and Cassidy. My brain works faster than my mouth sometimes.
It's okay. I've reached out all day today.
Fair enough. This is our newest release from THC Ringside Books. The life story of a good buddy of mine. And folks, we'll see you next week.
Yes, we will.